This is Intro to Bars. The first thing I'm going to talk about is what should our focus be when teaching intro level bars. Okay. My favorite thing to teach when teaching bars is the joy of conditioning and learning to be goal oriented in getting stronger. The second thing is the upper body strength is a very important skill because to hold yourself on top of the bar safely, you have to be strong enough. The next is core strength. That is in the stomach and the lower back, and that will help us with the lifting our feet to the bar and circling around the bar. After that, we like to teach them about body awareness, just squeezing different parts of their muscles. They have to be able to squeeze their triceps, their core, their glutes. Hanging upside down requires everything. And then also another is shifting. The basic movement of their hands from the top to the bottom of the bar, or backwards from the top to the bottom of the bar. The second thing I would like to talk to you guys about is the challenges you're going to face as coaches while running these classes. Different challenges come with different features or different types of kids. The younger the kid, or the smaller the kid, bigger the kid, or the older the kid. All different things. The younger the kid, the lower you want to keep the bars to the ground. I like to keep the bars within waist height, a little higher, so that their feet are only about 2 inches off the ground when in support and 2 inches off the ground when in a hang. If they're doing a hang, such as like the sloth hang, I usually have the bar low enough to where their back is only a few inches off the ground. Okay, so safety is always a concern when it comes to their age. Size, you have to worry about, what they're going to be able to handle strength versus their size. Okay, so if they're bigger, you don't want to have them doing something on a higher bar or some of the more advanced skills without the spotting or assistance. The second thing, or going with that, is of course strength. Some kids are naturally stronger than others. You have to be aware of what they can and cannot handle when trying to get them to go through these skills. If one kid is so strong that they can do a chin-up pullover by themselves, and the next kid can't hold on to the bar while they walk their feet above bar height, you have to be aware of things like that, so you make sure they're safe at all times. We already talked about bar height, so I'm going to skip that. Space. You want to always be aware of your space. If you're coaching from here, you should be able to see all of your stations here and here. You should never turn your back to them. Okay, don't help somebody over here if you have a kid upside down over here. Okay, so always be aware of your space, your environment, and also the environment around you. Because sometimes while working in the gym, kids go into areas they're not supposed to be in. So you need to be aware of your area and also the areas around you. After that is spotting. Make sure when you're spotting the kids that you're very hands-on. Okay. On bars, I like to use my hand on their wrist at all times, and also a hand on their leg or their lower back, depending on the skill, which I'm going to show you right now. Okay. This is just the support phase of our skills. A front support is when they're just holding onto the bar. Okay. This is the beginning of them learning how to hold their weight up. You like for their tummies to be in tight. If they're a girl, tell them no wrinkles in their leotard and it'll be pretty straight quickly. While spotting this skill or observing, I would like to see hands on the wrist and maybe a hand on the shoulder so that they don't fall forward. You always want to be in control of the fall forward. That's the most dangerous part of the falling. Okay? Besides that, in the support, you can do jump to support. You can do shoulder shrugs. Let's show shoulder shrugs. So in a shoulder shrug, what you're looking for is for them to push as tall as they can in their back right here. Go ahead and push up and down. And normally if you just tap right there, they'll follow your lead and they'll push right up into the shoulder shrugs. But this one, again, come down. It's going to help with the strength of them pushing the bar away in their calf swings. Okay, and we'll get to that in a second. Besides Besides shoulder shrugs, another good conditioning is just shifting their weight side to side. Okay, that's in place in the beginning, but as they get stronger, you can have them walk from one side to the other. Of course, pushing tall in their back and keeping the wrinkles out of their leotard, depending on boy or girl. And then on the floor bar, come over here, please. For our support phases, especially with girls gymnastics, we like to do leg cuts. Can you swing one leg over the bar? And back. And swing the other leg. They probably only going to use one leg for this skill, but when strengthening the body, you want to strengthen both sides. So make sure that you're using both sides of the drill. Also, we can do birdie on a perch. Stand up. 1 foot on, other foot on, chest up. In the beginning, spot this skill as well. I like to have one arm or one hand on their arm and the other on their back, and just make sure they're getting their chest up and safely jumping off. Okay. After support, we usually start working on hangs. Most of their hanging skills they're going to do on their own, but they're very important for strength. Okay. The first one is a long hang. We're not going to show you that because it requires a bar that's a lot higher than this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is a tuck hang. So they're going to hang. Again, try and get rid of the wrinkles in the leotard. Their knees should be at horizontal, okay, and squeezing the stomach, okay. The next hang is going to be a monkey hang, and that is where we put, there you go, on the outside. Thank you. This is the easier version, but the more advanced version is going to be with their toes in the middle of the bar. So both of those are a monkey hang. Both of those, again, are building core strength, which I said at the very beginning is very important. The next skill is the sloth hang. Okay, I want you to take a second and notice, his back is probably a foot and a half off the ground. If he were a child in my class, I would decide that this bar needs to be a couple levels lower. Okay, that way there's no risk of them falling. And if they do fall from this high, they have time to move their hands from the bar to behind their back, and that's normally when they hurt their wrists or elbows. So we can come down. The closer we can get them to the ground, the less risk we have when they do mess up, if they do. And then again, weight shifting. So just like we did on top of the bar, except we're going to go side to side. And as they get stronger, they can climb from one side of the bar to the other. Very cool. Okay. Now we're going to do casting. Casting is, jump up, the beginning to all circling. So, it's the beginning element to get them able to circle around the bar. For the cast, I would like to see your hand on the underneath their knee right here and on the front of their shoulder. Again, if they decide to lean forward, go and lean forward. You can hold them up, okay? And if they decide to kick their legs, you can keep those in place, okay? Because falling forward in this skill is going to be the most dangerous thing. Okay, hop down. For casting, my favorite drills, I only use a couple. I never use more than 1 or 2. My favorite is just jump to the bar, cast as high as you can, land back on the mat. Once they've gotten that, they're more advanced, they go jump to the bar, cast 3 times, back to the mat. Cast 3 times in a row, and back to the mat. If you notice how the 2 first swings were a little low, okay, normally they're nervous about going up and higher when coming back to the bar, but I do always recommend that the kids try and swing a little higher in the last swing just so their comfortability level is going up. All right, good. So from support to casting. After casting, we're going to do conditioning, okay? A lot of the skills we've done hanging are going to be good for conditioning. I would like to show you a little more advanced for the hanging. All right, so in the cast, we want them to have a nice hollow body. I call this mad cat position, okay? Nice, go ahead and arch your back, and push tall like a mad cat, push, okay? This is a shape I want to see in their cast, of course, with flat hips, no line in the hips, and then the shoulders in front of the hands a little more. Okay, good. So this is going to be the position at the top of the cast. Here are a few positions you do not want. Bend your elbows, You don't want them bending their arms. When they bend their arms, they lose control. And when they lose control, they fall forward. Okay, push up tall. And then arch, please. And this is the arch position. We don't want the arch position because it's going to keep them from circling correctly. And it's also going to keep them from staying on top of the bar. After they cast in an arch shape, they're going to come down and their shoulders are going to go back faster than they anticipate. And that's going to make them fall backwards off the bar. I'm going to keep them safe. Okay, you're good. Up. All right, so cast in the hollow position. The best way to teach that is before you even start casting over the bar, we put a few mats in front of a floor bar, and we have them hold the cast hold. One of them. Okay, can you arch for me, please? Arch, arch. Now, normally, the kids are going to start, bad shape. Arch, their shoulder blades are down, their bottom's not tight. Again, all you got to do is poke at them a little bit, okay? Tell the girls no wrinkles in the leotard, kind of push up on their stomach, tap toe on their back. Make sure you position their head. Tell them to squeeze the bottom and the legs. And then once you do that, they usually can find the shape pretty easily on their own. Anytime they need a reminder, all it takes is a little tap in a certain place, and they usually squeeze it nice and tight. All right, good. Okay, so now we're moving on to conditioning. Perfect, we'll set up. More advanced conditioning. Hang on the bar, please. We're just going to do an L hold. Put your feet up on the mat. So for the L holds are pretty difficult for class kids. So if they're pretty strong and you'd like to advance them a little further than a tuck hang or a straddle hang, well, I'd like you to put their feet on a box first. That way, all they have to do is lift for a couple of seconds, and then they can rest again. 1, 2, 3, and back down. Okay? They can do that for 3 or 5. It's always good to have them set a goal. And once they reach the goal, you see they did 3 seconds. Give them praise, tell them they did great, and then see if they can set a higher goal. If you ask them for 8 and the kid seems like that's too much, give them 5 instead of 3. But it's always good to set the goals. Also, on the box, we go chin up to forehead. Okay, I find that that's the easiest way to strengthen for the chin up pullover. Normally we go chin up to the chest, but most of the kids in our rec classes in the beginning have a hard time with that. Again, if they're, you can see that they're stronger or they're of the size that you think they can do a chin up to their chest, that's more than welcome. Go ahead. Good. So if they can do chin up to forehead and chin up to chest, and you can see that they're getting stronger, the next step would be to chin up and lift your feet off the box. Chin up and then lift your feet to an L. And down. And chin up and lift your feet to an L. As you can see, this is more advanced. It's a little harder. But once you do these a few steps, your kids will get stronger very fast. Okay, alligator legs. The next step, or a step prior to, if you'd like, is called alligator legs. This one is just like the L hold, but we go open, close with our legs. This one helps with core strength, it helps strengthen their legs, and it's also a leg tightening drill. So in the more advanced stages, when you're wanting to get them ready or make them look better for, say the mini Olympics, you add a thing like this. It's pretty easy, really fun. They like to do it. And it'll straighten their legs a little more. Okay? After they're strong enough for the leg lift and the L hold and the alligator legs, I like to give them a block and have them reach that block up and touch it to the block. Again, on these, if you're spotting, hand on the wrist, hand on the back of the leg. And try not to do too much work for the kids, but do make sure that you give them the appropriate help to build confidence. Okay, if they can't lift their leg 4 inches, you spot them through it. Build their confidence. And even though you're helping, you're still building strength. So strength and confidence are very important on bars. After our conditioning skills, we begin our inverted skills. Okay, the first thing you're going to do for invert is you're going to start with a bar like this, and you're going to walk your feet up the wall. As they walk their feet up the wall for the first time, I want you spotting their wrist and their leg again, okay? This is the very beginning. After they can do this, they can do inverted chin-ups. Yep, and start doing chin-ups. It's a little close for him, so it's difficult. After the invert hang, they begin like kicking a soccer ball. Can you bend one leg, put it on the wall, and kick the other leg over? It's not my fault, Grant. Okay. That's the beginning of the chin-up pullover. Okay. The next step for the chin-up pullover is chin on the bars and leg lift. Good. Notice the same hand positions for each part. Let me show you one time the middle of it, though. Can you jump up? In the middle, I move my hand from his wrist to his shoulder, and I help him shift on top of the bar. Okay, hop down. The best drill that I found for shifting in this skill, besides the jumping up and down that I showed you earlier, is called a woody woodpecker. Okay, the woody woodpecker requires them to be able to go to do forward roll and then back up to support. Okay, and again, I like to spot that. Hands on the back of the leg, arm on the front, or hand on the front of the arm. Just in case they kick can you kick your feet up and your head back? Just in case they kick their feet up and their head back, you have a strong hold and you can help them get back on top of the bar. That's one of the most common mistakes. Hop down. It's very important to teach the shifting on this skill, and it's very important to teach the direction of the legs. Otherwise, you have kids that maybe come over here by themselves and kick over, and they end up doing what we just talked about. They end up lifting their leg, and they end up going forward. The reason forward is dangerous is because when they're falling forward for the first time, they decide it's a good idea to let go of the bar and reach for the ground. When you reach for the ground, obviously that puts the elbow and the wrist at risk of injury, so we like to avoid that situation at all costs. The next one of our inverted skills is called an inverted hang, and it is very difficult, but it's the beginning of a back hip circle. Okay, inverted hang. I start spotting the leg and the shoulder. As they get more advanced, I only spot the shoulder. I only spot the shoulder, and the more you push on the shoulder, the easier it is for him to hold their leg or hold their body to the bar. Okay, so some of the kids, I even put one hand on each shoulder, and they just work on squeezing their bottom. So it's more like a candlestick holding the ground. They're not quite going to master this before they move on to a back hip circle. But again, it's a great training tool to use while you're teaching the back hip circle. The next thing is the back hip circle. Same shift as the same shift as the chin up pullover. Okay, except for we're going to really focus on straight elbows on this one. Okay, and same spot as the cast. Start here, and then hand on the back of the leg as they circle around. Okay, so small cast, hand on the back hip circle, sorry. Hand on the back of the leg, and then hands on top. So, as you can see, as you get more advanced, the same spotting technique is required. Try one more. Cast, hand on the back of the leg, hand on the shoulder, be safe the whole time. And that's the same spot I use when I'm teaching a clear hip to horizontal or clear hip to 45 with our older gymnasts. Okay, so the more you practice spotting when they jump up to support. Spotting. Practice it. The better you get at spotting bars, the more you'll be able to teach and the faster you'll do it. Okay? Those are the skills for introductory bars that I would like to go through. Okay, I'd like to give you a little different idea on how to run a bar circuit. Can't do it all the time. The beginning requires a little sitting. We don't like that a lot. Okay, so let's make the first one the easy one. Come on, okay. All right, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Quentin do a skill, okay? Lay on the ground, do a leg lift to the bar. Hands on the bar, feet to the bar. Straight arms, please, touch the bar, and back down, and go back up, okay? You're going to do that 2 times, and then he's going to leave. He's going to go get a little chalk on his hands. I'm going to take the second and the third and the fourth stage through this one, teaching them exactly what I want at that station. And then after they've done it, again, I make it easy, I move on to the next station. I have them do it by themselves, and as they're doing it by themselves, I'm teaching the second station. So say they just did leg lifts on the ground, and now I want them to do their leg lifts with the block. So I teach them. You grab the bar, walk between your feet, touch the bar, touch the bar, touch the bar 3 times. I send them back. They get chalk, they get in line. Now things are starting to move, okay? Maybe I teach this one twice because it's a little harder. After I teach that leg lift and this leg lift, I come over to this bar. This bar we're going to do chin up pull, okay? Walk our feet up the wall and kick our toes over. I'm going to teach this one a few times. You know, it's a beginner class, but they're more advanced. They've been working on the chin up pull quite a bit. So I spot the first few times to make sure they're shifting correctly, make sure their feet are going in the right direction. Again, making sure they're safe at all times. See, notice I have my chest, my head turned in the direction. I can see them at all times. Okay, so I teach this one, make sure they get through all 3. After that, you know, they head back, they chalk, they go 1, 2, 3 by themselves. I'm walking through, making sure that they all know, and I'm seeing that they're focusing on the instructions or the corrections I gave them in the beginning. So as I check that, I now move on to the bar over here. Staying where I can see everybody. I come to this bar, and on this bar, we're going to work on our back hip circle. Okay? So now, I went through these 3 stations. They know exactly what I want, and they're going to move quickly through it. After that bar, they come to me. We're working the most advanced skill. This is now my spotting station. It took me about 7 minutes to get to my spotting station, but I didn't just say, we're doing this here, we're doing this here, we're doing this here, we're doing that there, you guys go. I taught each station, and it gave them a better idea of how to do it with efficiency. And that's what we're looking for. The circuit like this is great. I love teaching like this rather than telling them what to do and having them go. You can do that, but then you're walking around trying to teach everything at the same time, and you feel like you're unorganized and not getting a lot done. Just a new idea, a circuit you guys can try during your classes and see how it works for you. Thank you guys for your time.